Hello. Sorry I'm so late. I'm not sure how long I'm gonna be live. I do have to make dinner in like about less than an hour-ish, but we'll do as much as we can in this stream. I'll make dinner, we'll eat dinner, and then I'll probably end up coming back on live. And I will let you guys know what that looks like. My glasses constantly look like they look crooked on camera, and I can't tell if it's me or like the camera, but I swear to God, when I look in a mirror, they look straight to me. On camera, they don't. I don't understand what's happening. Like, I'm looking straight at the camera, and it looks crooked. That's so weird. Okay. Oh, you know what? I did it again. I don't have Unity open. I don't have the project open right now. But hi. How is everyone doing today? Oh, oops. So I'm just, getting the project loaded up. But yeah, anyway, how was everyone's day today? I had to go do some HR stuff for the new job. I did take a drug test and get fingerprinted and stuff for the... I'm getting my gaming license, so I had to meet with a rep from the Illinois Department of Gaming, Illinois Gaming Bureau, and get fingerprinted and do a bunch of shit like that. They're pretty stringent. But yeah. Dipping in and out tonight, probably be a big lurk soon. Yeah, no worries. I appreciate you, I appreciate you lurking. What time is it? What time is it there? Like 11, 12 at night or something now? Oh, it's 10, like 10:30. Is Ireland all in one time zone, right? Twin graduated, so I was peopling all day. Oh, jeez. Graduated? Tell him I said, congratulations. And I hope they're doing well. Still waiting for this to... First class honors in animation? That's incredible. Congratulations. That is one hell of an accomplishment. Okay. I think we got the game up now. Ooh, my guts are not feeling great today. Probably because I ate a whole pizza yesterday. Plus an extra slice. Plus 2 more slices today. Too much pizza. in a short amount of time. Can you guess how sleepy they've been in bed for 3 hours already? Oh, they went to bed at like 7 o'clock at night then. That's crazy. A very, very large slice, yes. Very, very big slice. But congratulations to them, seriously. Okay. Also, an ad is starting. Streamlabsception. Okay, anyway. So yesterday, we got the rockets working the way that we wanted to. If you shoot it, it goes straight. There is a detection radius around it. It will continue to go straight until something enters that radius. In which case, it will target the first thing within that radius. I think. That's what it's supposed to be doing? There we go, that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. We got the rockets working, we got moving around. Rockets are doing exactly the thing I wanted them to be doing. It took like 2 hours worth of messing around yesterday. Oh, I don't have the rockets. We got to pick up the rockets. Shoot. When an enemy enters that thing, it'll go toward that enemy, and they get blown up. And the twin stick mechanics are working exactly as intended. And rocket behavior is something I want to check on really quick. Just because I'm not sure if... Oh, I didn't just type something, did I? I did. Okay, it should... work. The thing I'm worried about here is it does for each, and I thought about this last night after I wrapped up. Actually, if there's only one rocket, I think once again it defaults to index 0. Which means call.compare tag, that transform should be index 0, which is actually what I wanted. We can test that later, I think. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, let's test it now. Let's just update debug.log. Target.toString. So now it should print the target in here. In the debug menu, it should... That way it should always be the first object. Okay. Well, it did not like that. For whatever... yeah, it did not like that. So, okay. We can debug that a different way later. It's working now. It's doing what I want it to do, which is really all I cared about. Rocket's a little overpowered, but we can make adjustments as we go. It might be a little bit overpowered. We haven't really done a health system or anything yet, so... Like this thing doesn't even have the right mass yet. So let's say mass is 5 times that amount. Okay, so he goes flying way less. Okay. I did HTML like 7 years ago, and this hurts my brain so bad. I've done game design and VFX landscaping after, but this is different. Yeah, it's C# programming, so it's like... I'm not going to speak with any authority on it. C# is the only language I know, other than some Unreal blueprint scripting. Outside of those two things, I have like no coding knowledge whatsoever. So yeah. I'm hoping my iPad's charged a little bit. There we go. Because it's hard for me to see the chat without bringing up that thing. Or without bringing up the overlay, and the overlay kind of gets in the way of the editor. Okay. So the rocket is working as intended. There are some things I would like to do later, but those are like polished. Those are more polish-oriented tasks, like smoothing out the turn right now. As soon as any enemy enters that detection radius, you'll notice that the rocket changes directions. Changes directions immediately. There is no turning. It's going one way, and then the next frame it's going a different way. Here, I'll show you what I mean. See what I mean? That is something that we will smooth out later. It's not an important task right now, because I want to get moving on more important stuff, which would be... I am connected to the internet. What are you talking about? There we go. I would like to bring up the YouTube chat, please. In case anybody is watching over there And I'd like the Twitch chat to show up on the Twitch app here, please. There we go. Stream manager. There we go. Can't watch. It's less loading now. Uh-oh. Well, I don't want to press any of these because I am streaming to 3 different places. So that could be part of it. Because I'm live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm hoping that once I have a more permanent setup, because I'm just in a kitchen on a laptop right now, streaming to 3 different locations through Wi-Fi. Which is not an ideal setup. I don't even have an Ethernet cable right now. But I'll have a different PC and hook up to Ethernet probably in the coming weeks. I had a minute there where I had to reload 5 times in a row. After a few seconds each time. That sometimes happens, yeah. I do have to go in like 10 minutes, but I'll be lurking. I appreciate the lurk. Oh, this isn't working now. The stream manager chat on my iPad isn't working now. That's a little annoying. Kind of defeats the whole purpose. Just want a person to be there and not... Yeah. Yep, everything you're saying is not showing up in the stream manager on my iPad. So, the stream manager on the iPad's kind of not working. That's cool. Whatever. Okay, anyway. So next is the spawn manager. And we're just gonna watch this video real quick. Hopefully that's not too loud.
Now we have all of our prefab set up for all of our enemies and our power-ups so that we can reuse them whenever we need.
Yep, we got that.
Now we just need a spawn manager to spawn them at random intervals and in random locations. To do that, first we need a spawn manager game object. So we'll actually right-click in our hierarchy, we're going to create an empty game object. We don't actually need it in the scene and visible. We just need a game object to hold it. Rename it spawn manager. Now, we need a script to actually manage all of our spawning. So in my scripts folder in the project window, I'll right-click, create a C# script. We'll call it spawn manager. Now we have the spawn manager script. I'm going to left-click and drag onto our spawn manager. And if I go to my spawn manager object, we should see the script is added. So that's good. Now I'm going to double-click on the spawn manager script so we can open it in our IDE. So in my spawn manager script, if we recall back to prototype 2 where we were spawning all of these animals, I actually need to hold an array so that I can get references to each of my prefabs. And I'm going to use a different variable to actually store our power-ups. You could do the same and then do some array magic, but I'm not going to do that. That's a little bit too complicated, unnecessary.
Alright, so we need an array for our enemy
an array for my
prefabs.
enemies, and then I just have a game object for my power-up.
And the prefab.
Now first, I'm going to assign these in the inspector. So if I select in Unity my spawn manager game object in the hierarchy, I have the enemies array. So I have 4 different enemies, so I'll make it a size of 4. So now we have 4 slots for our enemy game objects and then a power-up. So I'm going to actually do the power-up first. We'll left-click and drag the prefab. And then for each of the enemies, left click and drag into each of the elements. So now I have references to all of these enemies and my power-up. So now I'll need to consider two problems. I have to spawn my power-ups in the area where my player is, and I also need to spawn all of my enemies in the area in front of my player, or from my top-down perspective, above my player. In fact...
And for us, since ours is not the game that he's making, ours is actually going to be... we're going to have a spawn range, which essentially spans the entire field. So it would select a random point throughout, between all of these points. Which means we'll probably make an enumerable or an enumerator. I forget which one.
Clean up this
that
variable.
Essentially generates
so this might get
a random
little
spawn
bit
point within
I
those.
actually do need to also consider my boundaries for my power.
Within those
We're
boundaries.
gonna call it Z enemy spawn. So this is the Z location that the enemy will spawn at. And then I need 2 more private variables for the maximum range on the X that enemies or power-ups can spawn. So luckily I can reuse this. And then another thing to consider is that my power-ups can only spawn within a certain range. So my player's maximum and minimum Z is 6 and -6. So I need to make the Z spawn range around like 5 and -5. In fact, I'm going to actually change the X so that's a little bit more clear. So this is actually the range of values that we can spawn at instead of the boundary. That way it lines up better, especially with our Z power-up range. Now, what I need to do first is I need to actually create my enemies and my power-ups. So first I'll actually make a void, because we don't need to return since we're using the instantiate method. So this will be void spawn enemy. Now with our spawn enemy, I need to actually get a random range on our X coordinates.
Which is similar to what we're going to do.
Random position on the X that our enemies can spawn at.
Except we're going to define a whole field.
One of our random enemies. So in fact, actually what I want to do first is I need to get a random enemy to spawn. So now I have that random index. So with instantiate, I need to
and we can use that exact same
spawn the object and make sure it's rotated properly. In order to also get that position, we need to make a vector3 variable. So now in our instantiate method, we instantiate one of our random enemies, spawning it at that spawn position that we created, and then we just use the transform. Actually, we need to get the enemies index. That way we get the right enemy that we're using. Get that game objects transform dot rotation. So now it's oriented in the proper direction. My code is yelling at me. So I'll actually just make that 175F. So now in my start method, let's see, I'm just going to test this right now just to see and make sure that it works and nothing breaks, hopefully. So now when I press play, a random object should spawn. So we have a ball. There you go. So it spawned right there. Let's try that again. Now we have a cube spawning on the side. And then let's do it one more time. And then another cube. Cool. So we know that our enemy spawns work. So now, in our spawn manager script, we need to also spawn our power-up. Luckily, that will be a little bit easier since we don't need to do any array indexing. I'm going to call this spawn power-up. So in this case, we do need the random X and we need a random Z as well. So, in fact, I'm just going to copy this bit of code since we already wrote it. No need to write it twice. And then I also need our Z spawn random Z. That's what I need. So now it should be bound within that view of our player. We need to turn these all into a vector 3. Now we instantiate our power-up. Now, if I add this to our start, we should see spawn power-up. Now, if I play, there you go, random power-up, and then we can go pick it up. So now we have our spawn enemy and our spawn power-up. So I need to actually apply these to spawn at certain times. So what I did was I created variables for both my enemy's spawn time and my power-up spawn time to make those different. I added in invoke repeatings to replace the spawn power-up and our spawn random enemy. In fact, I renamed spawn enemy to spawn random enemy just to make it a lot more clear that this method does also find a random enemy when it spawns, instead of just a standard enemy. So that way, if I save, now because of our invoke repeating method, when I press play, every second an enemy spawns. There's one. That was a very heavy enemy. You can see our power-ups are spawning about every 5 seconds or so.
I just like seeing the cubes just like roll uncontrollably like that.
Now we're just trying to avoid all of the different enemies that are flying down our scene. Oh, there's another bump. Oh. Cool. So we have our game in a really good place now. We can spawn all of these things. We've made prefabs. So we have our general project working. Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect yet.
Okay. I actually hate to do this. But I'm actually going to end a little bit earlier than I was expecting to. I honestly should have gone live way earlier than I did. But I have to stop to get dinner. I have to get dinner going here. But I do plan on going live after dinner, so I'll make sure to keep you guys updated. If you're in the Discord, then you should get an update. If you're not in the Discord, hold on, let me get you if you're not in the Discord but you would like to be, if you're not in the Discord but you'd like to be, there you go. For whatever reason, Nightbot just doesn't work for me anymore. I don't know why. It hasn't worked in weeks. Like, it isn't even showing up. But I'll show you guys. Hold on. If you look up here, typically you can see the users in chat. And under moderators, Nightbot is automatically a moderator. I have Kofi in there, but I don't even use that really. It still has authorization, but Nightbot isn't even showing up, and I don't know why. So if anyone knows why, please let me know so that I can get that fixed, because I can't use any of my custom commands because of that. And it makes it very frustrating. Like I can't use the commands. Like if I do Discord, nothing happens because it isn't there. Same with support, nothing there. Same with raid. Like none of the commands work. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of annoying. Anyway, alright. We might raid someone just because we're wrapping up and there's probably someone live. Oh, that's Tears of the Kingdom. I don't want to get spoiled for that. Oh, why is it so out of order?
The place good.
happening? There we go. Alright, I know who we're gonna raid. Following viewers low to high, just to organize it here. We're gonna send it over to BCV for some Paper Mario. Alright. I'll be live again probably in a couple hours after I cook and eat dinner and clean up a little bit, and we'll continue this. Alright. I will see you guys later.